There we go. Look at that.
Ooh,
I'm
that is
still
so cool.
working.
I really do like that.
I'm gonna keep making more different ones. I have a custom Canva account and I've been going in and changing colors on things and going crazy, and I want to do more of that for like the different channels, like gaming
This is like
interviews,
perfect
whatever.
too. I think I'm gonna have to unblur my background because you guys are just gonna have to see how much in construction I'm still
You
in.
organize. Yeah, I left mine unblurred because the blur for background on this particular broadcast, hi everyone, is just weird. Sometimes when you like stream, there's some applications that have a really good blur background, but I've found that like Zoom and StreamYard are a little weird. It really depends entirely on your lighting whether or not it works.
Yeah, and
So
this is like my third desk setup in the last year, so we're still working. It's getting somewhere, but now we have new flooring, so that's why it looks like a mess. But hi, everybody. We need to show the banner. Banner.
oh, did I not? I updated it and didn't click on it.
No worries, no worries.
Tired.
So,
I had some stomach problems this morning and I was like, I have to make it to the last stream of the year. I don't care if I'm not in costume. My stomach was so angry this morning.
oh,
I don't know what caused it, but something. I was like, okay.
I yesterday. What did you eat yesterday at the LibCon?
That's the thing is I didn't actually eat anything except for I had a thing of crackers, and then I didn't eat anything until almost 7 o'clock at night, which is very rare for me. Because I was so busy, and then getting back, we were to LiveCon West yesterday. Getting back from it, traffic was insane, and so it was really it took.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it took like almost an hour, and I'm like, what the? I'm not even that far
Yeah, and
from
it
it.
normally takes me an hour to get there, to get
It takes me
home.
only
So
35
there was an
minutes where I'm
accident
at.
on
It only took.
I-17. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
construction
we
on the
moved to the
16.
17. Yeah, there was that's the thing is like what we ended up doing. So those of you who aren't familiar, LibCon West is based out of Glendale, and both Jinx and I are kind of more of the East Valley, right? So we had to go really like kind of west and then north to head to LibCon West, which is the Glendale Public Library. Jinx, I think, is an hour away. I'm only 35 minutes away, but that's only if traffic is really good. And going there was no problem, but getting back, yeah. But
Getting back
that's
was
the
such a
risk you
pain.
take when you do conventions. And this is actually like a really small hi coconut. This is a really small library event. And it's one of my favorite ones, honestly. I like the library events because it's one time when you know, at large conventions, you run into problems where there's so much going on that you don't usually get to spend a lot of time with the people that you've always wanted to network or connect with, right? And you also don't get to establish familiarity with people because there's a lot of people that you might meet at the conventions, but not actually ever get to know them. You'll just see their face and be like, oh, I met them once, but you don't actually really know them. And I've encountered that a lot where people say my name and I don't know who they are because I maybe met them one time at a con. Hi, Coconut. Or I administrate a group that has booths off and on, and they'll be like, "Oh, hi," and I'm like, I feel so bad. So I really like library conventions because it gives you the opportunity to get to know those people who you maybe have met briefly in passing.
Hi, Joey. Joey's watching us from YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
I believe we'll have another guest joining us soon. But yeah, so I love the LibCons. When I moved back in 2016, the first LibCon I went to was Tempe LibCon 2017, and my sister had been going like ever since it started. She's like, it started in the basement, and so by the time I went to it, and which is where I met a lot of these guys, I saw Sam and Ashley and Amber and a bunch of other people. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like it's a free event, um, tons of kids and family, and just lots of cool things to do. So the following year, my sister's like, we should vend because my sister was making jewelry. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It sounds like fun. So her and we vend as like, as booth vendors every year at Tempe and Glendale. And then I've kind of just like helped out in cosplay kind of wherever I can. But primarily we go just to sell fun stuff and, have a booth craft day. But I love it because you see almost everyone you know there. You'll see people like Thermo said, you'll see him again from, when you might have not seen him again. Because the other events are so huge that sometimes I barely see my actual friends or we'll see them in passing, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
show. Let
LibCons
me
are
see
great.
if I
I'll
can
always support
find.
the LibCons.
Yeah, here we go. So these are kind of like when Jinx is talking about booths. These are like this is an inside one, but this is typically what you
Oh,
see at libraries where you're kind of outside. And I think this was at Tempe FanCon earlier this year.
It was. And welcome, Jeremy from Age of Radio, our sponsor. Hey, yo.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for
Good.
having me.
Yeah, so yesterday was your first LibCon. So we're going to
Yes.
see what your experience was like. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I always love them, and they're chill too. So,
Yeah, it was, and hopefully I don't have a super big lag. Me and StreamYard don't get along on this computer sometimes, so I
you seem
apologize.
okay.
No, the LibCon was fantastic. I really enjoy doing them. I mainly do them to interview people, and I had a lot of great interviews yesterday for content that we could use on our Instagram channel and to get to know more of the community. But I think one of the things that I enjoy, and I don't know if this is the conference community in general or just the cosplay community, but it's very, very welcoming. And so everybody is super friendly and kind and gets along with everybody. And I think that that makes it easier. And I really enjoyed having or being a part of my first LibCon, I guess.
Yeah, I think as cosplayers in general, we want to be accepted, right? Because we're doing something that is typically or has been at least for 20 years ago out of the norm for adults. It's typically a child's thing to dress up, but we it's something that we love to do, and we do have a desire to be accepted as well. So we're more accepting community and allow others, especially those that just love cosplay, because there's people that don't cosplay but just love it. And of course, those are the people that we definitely want to accept into the community as well. So this was your live walk around. So you were doing
Yeah,
live
that was.
interviews.
Yeah, I'm just going to say a few points on that. Next time, we're going to plan that bad boy out a little bit better. I went around with everybody that was with us. I will say though that the Rode released a new like micro clip microphone that plugs into a USB-C, and it made walking around and doing that super easy. And you can just
Mm.
clip it to anybody if you want to talk to someone, or you can just hold it
Yeah.
up to them, and it picks it up really, really well. So I think that it worked fantastic. And so one of the things that worked was also great about it was the fact that like we were able to go up to multiple vendors and talk to them about their projects, and then it allows them to share, get more, I guess, more eyes on the things that they're focused on, because that's like one of the main things that we try to do with Age of Radio is focus on indie creators and get them, more well known and to help them grow. So yeah, I think it went really, really well. Just other than the fact that we had way too many people walking around with us.
Yeah, I like whenever we did walk arounds. Hi, Baby Bug Cosplays, watching us from Twitch. We see you guys there. So what we usually would do is like Thermo would usually stay at the booth because I think between the two of us, she's slightly more clumsy. I am clumsy too, but and then myself and an assistant usually like
Yeah,
would be
no,
the
I'm
Insomnia
really
Mat would walk
clumsy. I will
around.
fall on anything.
Yeah, so I would selfie myself, but then Insomnimat would be like watching people that are bumping into me or finding people to like pull on camera. And that worked really well. Of course, like we still had issues of audio, which we'll figure out next time.
That
But
is getting better. I would say that there's new technology. So like I'm actually about to start getting rid of a lot of the old tech that I have. And for those of you who are interested, who have always done podcasting or streaming, and you want to responsibly get rid of your tech, because there's always tons of it, Trashy's officially recycling cords and cables and computers. So it's like $20 and you can send a whole box. So I'm working on that. But
Oh, nice.
there's the USB-C mics that are now for phones. They're Bluetooth, and then the connections to them are so much stronger than they used to be. So they are a lot better.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. No, I
So,
agree with that. And
question.
thank you for that
I don't.
saying that, Thermo, because I didn't know about that. What is it? Trashies?
Yeah, Trashies, Trashie.
I
It
have
used to be
so
like
much
only a
stuff.
clothing recycler.
Yeah.
Hmm. Always.
That's
So
cool.
just a couple of questions. I don't want to go too far without answering them. Anthony, love your Chun-Li cosplay, Jinx. Also, happy belated birthday as well. Thank you. Is this the last stream of 2024? Yes, the last discussion stream of 2024. I don't. Thermo might want to throw up a gaming stream, but yes. And Joey asks, how long does it take for you to plan out your cosplay for your con appearances? Thermo's better at that answer than I am. I'm terrible.
So I already have all my costumes for next year planned out. So I usually plan approximately a year in advance, but that's because a lot of my costumes, the past 2 years I've purchased more, but I found that when I purchase, I actually spend more time tailoring and having to tear the costume apart and rebuild it because they're not meant for someone my height or my body structure. I am technically physically built more like an American male than a female, and that's just because I don't know, partial Viking. I don't know. But it's just I'm just very tall and broad in my shoulders, and a lot of the costumes are manufactured outside of the US for smaller frames. And so even with me following measurements, that becomes difficult. So I usually have to plan a year in advance. I actually have all of the materials for my costumes next year already. But if it's something that's going to be really easy and I could order it, then I probably would just a couple weeks. But if I am making it myself, I'm looking at 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a lot less organized. I have like things that I want to do on my to-do list, and I kind of just do them as I can. And when it comes up to a con, like honestly, I don't even know what I'm gonna wear until like a week before. Sometimes it's a last minute costume. I try and get better at it. But yeah, so it's not very technical for me. Joey says, "Hey, Road, we love your mics." Link. I don't know, Jeremy, if you have a link, you can share that in the chat.
Well, I think he might be asking for the link for Trashies. I'm not sure.
Oh, link for Trashies.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I think after that he says, "Cool, I have some old tech I need to get rid of." So I think it's the
Yeah,
link
I
for
can do that. I will get it.
Yeah, I have so much tech that I need to get rid of, and I'm always trying to find, especially doing, trying to get to more conferences, and I'm going to work some magic to get into Tempe, the Tempe Fan Con somehow. And
yeah.
so, but like doing these more and trying to figure out how we're going to be doing more of these lives, not just with cosplayers, but with other creators in the similar community, trying to get better tech is going to be super important because like this last time when we did them yesterday, one of the things that I didn't like about the Rode is because it wasn't an exterior microphone, there wasn't a way to then link it to say a speaker or to a PA system. And again, we want to be mindful obviously when we're at a conference so that we're not bothering other people at their tables, right? But still having some kind of like exterior sound go out to the people around it, so if they want to listen to the interview, because during the very first interview that we did with a Simmerlin 500, we had like 5 or 6 people that were around us, maybe even more than that were watching it, but I don't think that they could hear what we were saying because of the fact that we didn't have that exterior mic. So I think like looking at new tech and how to do that super important. And because of that, you have old tech that you need to get rid of, which is always a problem for content creators, but I suppose a good problem to have.
That's an interesting point because I'd never considered like having the audio out so people could hear it. But also like I'm always walking around in costume with a mic, so that already draws enough attention.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm glad you guys got to practice.
Well, go ahead, Jinx.
Oh, no, I'm glad you guys got to practice that out yesterday with such a chill event. Like you could take this to even like bigger conventions, you know, in different genres like bodybuilding conventions or some other business conventions,
Yeah.
You know, under different categories. And I think it sounded great. Like I did listen back to our interview that we did, which was stationary. And I was concerned because so the library's right off the main road. And there's a lot of road noise. Like even the crowd noise was not nearly as bad, but I was surprised like you couldn't really hear any of that other stuff. So
yeah, no,
it was
and
really
that
good.
was
I enjoyed it. Wow, we got lots of chat here. Let's see. Anthony says, I can't wait to see what 2025 will bring with your awesome cosplaying costumes. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know yet either. But so we're
I
gonna
have
do a
5
wrap.
costumes planned.
5. I don't even know what I have. I have ideas. That's it. Mine are just ideas. I have a concept of plan. Sorry,
Well, I
had
know
to
I'm
say
going to complete 4 of them. Yeah, she has concept of a plan. I know I'm completing 4 of mine, but one of them is probably going to take me a year and a half to rebuild because I'm doing a full new silicone mask, and I'm going to start doing silicone pieces for the outfit too. So it's going to take a while.
So yeah, so our main topics today are going to be, you know, review of our events. We're going to start with Uwu because that was our most recent big event that both Thermo and I worked on a lot. And then we'll kind of just go backwards from there. We probably won't be able to cover every event, but we'll try our best. So UwuCon 2024 took place on November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, right? I think, or Yes, first, second, and third, at the Westworld in Scottsdale. So it was a new location. It's the third year of UWU, and the previous 2 years they were at this new venue called Legacy Park in East Mesa. So it's mostly on the eastern side of the main city. But this year was their first time changing venues. Thermo, do you want to talk a little bit more about UWU?
Yeah, so UwuCon did go to Westworld to Scottsdale this year. They wanted to switch venues up, one because there's a little bit easier access there, plus there were closer hotels this time around. And this is their third year. They're still experimenting with things. They did a lot better this year, but there's always room for improvement for every convention. Honestly, like any convention that stops improving is going to go stagnant and have problems. But they worked really hard. They managed to get SpongeBob this year. They had a lot of another amazing. There was like 2 or 3 voice actor, or I know there's one for a fact that had never ever been to a convention before. There were 2 or 3 that had never been to Arizona before. So it was really interesting, and the voice actors were really nice and kind. We also didn't know that there were a couple other events going on at the same time, so we got to see some cool horses, we got to listen to some EDM music. There were really good times, and there were times that were kind of sad. There was one instance where the trophies for the masquerade were stolen, and so our COO is working on making them. Those of you that did win in the costume contest and skit contest, that is still, he handmade all of those, so he's having to hand make all 6 again. So we're hoping early next year, we can ship them out to you. We still have your contact information. It was really sad because he worked so long and hard on those, and they were custom. There's only 6 that exist. So it was really sad. But other than that, there was also really positive things where we got to make more networking connections. We were able to actually have double the amount of panels this year. We were able to increase the space quite a bit so that there was less congestion in the rows. It was easier to walk around. And while there weren't food trucks, because there's city stuff gets complicated sometimes, there were indoor, like, little spots, pop-ups, and some of those vendors were able to come inside with smaller versions of what they serve. There was
Yes.
also a lot more variety of vendors and artists, I'd say, this year. And overall, I feel like it was a little bit easier to navigate. Because I know the one thing with Legacy is it got a little confusing because there were always sports events going on. So trying to figure out what building to be in, where to go was difficult, even with signage. And then also, because there were sporting events, sometimes the kids at the sporting events would knock over the signs. Apparently, a couple of them got stolen, and that's why we didn't have panel signs this year. And things like that happened. And so going to an event that specializes in special events, I mean, this was the first time that Westworld of Scottsdale had ever hosted a convention. Why were you in my closet?
I think they've hosted other conventions before, though, haven't they? Kind of like the smaller ones.
No, they've never done a convention, like not like a comic convention or like a pop culture convention. They've done like horses and car shows and stuff like that, but nothing to this level, which was different, right? So so there's going to be missteps, and that's normal. That happens with any venue that's like, I'm going to take on a new genre of events, and they underestimate the complexity of that new genre. And so we're all working together. There've been a lot of discussions. We've taken a lot of the feedback. Thank you so much to anyone who's provided feedback, whether it was positive or negative. We don't care. We're very appreciative of any feedback you provide, because it helps us grow and ensures that we can accommodate and keep you safe in the future. So thank you so much. Yeah, I'm participating more in UWU next year too, but I'd say overall, while it was busy and it was chaos and I was exhausted by the end of it, it was a really good event.
Yeah, that thing was exhausting. That was the first time that I'd ever had like my own thing at an event. And then obviously I helped, with some stuff to help with you guys. But it was I was so exhausted after that.
Yeah,
It
being
was,
the
but it
only
was
AV
good. It
tech
was
that knew
really
how to
good
do
exhausting.
XLR systems for panels, I was like, this is not too hard. But then Jinx was like, hey, Jinx, I gotta run away again. I need to go fix another microphone.
Yeah, and then there was one I forgot where I think you guys were doing the cosplay competition. I think is what was happening, and I was trying to help someone in the one vault with their panel, and like she lost her power cord for her laptop, and the laptop had no power, and then there wasn't a way to connect it to the thing. So then luckily I had a bunch of stuff, so then I helped them get it all done. But you know, there's those things that just happen, and you have to be able to be there to, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
think
what
of
I'm thinking
the
about doing, 'cause
moment.
I actually have some spare, like, power cords and Ethernet and, like, a couple I was thinking next year, like, having just, like, a little bucket of tech that they can sign out, and then they can sign it back in.
Yeah.
'Cause it happens.
So
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good idea.
clarify, Thermo managed all of the panel programming, costume contest, you know, all of the kind of cosplay and paneling marketing and stuff. I went in and helped, you know, just manage the groups, whatever help they needed, any other details. And then we also
The
did the
website was
cosplay
fun
contest.
too.
So yeah, so overall, you know, I enjoyed the cosplay village. I know there's always ways we can grow and improve. But we did do the cosplay contest on Saturday night. And the thing about Westworld is because they primarily do kind of like outdoor shows, like car shows and horse shows and whatever, they have kind of these external tents that they use for like extra activities. So the cosplay contest was in one of the external tents. It's literally just like 5 steps from the actual building, but it's still an outside tent. So we had a pretty good show up until it started raining. So imagine it's this, you know, it's a temporary tent, but it's as permanent as it can be, you know, these event tents. But then we've got our stage, and then we've got like all these cords behind the stage, you know, for the lights and the electricity and stuff. And so we're like, sorry, we need to take a moment, everybody, because we need to, you know, put all these cords up from the water as it. And I was so impressed because the the tent was crowded. It sat like
We did
150, and
not
there were
like, we
people
had
standing.
over 125 chairs no, sorry, 130 chairs in there. They were all full, and there was still people we had to pack there was one section that we couldn't put chairs in because it's considered an emergency exit, so we kept the flaps open, but we had, like, 30 people packed over there, then there were people walking around. There are people that were even just standing in the rain, they didn't care, they just had, like a couple of them had umbrellas, and they were just standing there watching from outside, and I'm like, "This was
which
awesome, it was great, it was a
which I
good
was
turnout."
impressed because people did leave, which totally understandable because that's, you know, the logical thing to do. But a lot of people stuck around, and I was like, yes, this is like the dedicated community. So overall, you know, we had a good time with the contest. Of course, you know, there's lots of room for improvement, but we did get a lot of good feedback about it as well. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I think overall the cosplay was well received. The the car show was cool. I've never really been to car shows. A couple other things new things they tried that need some work, but yeah, not bad.
No,
Yeah, Joey
not at
says
all.
really loved the Westworld venue. I liked it too, but there were a lot of cons. Like, I know a lot of people complained about the floor because it actually is just like a dirt concrete floor. So which is fine unless you're like like cosplayers often have like costumes that drag or, you know, other things that they don't want to get dirty. So that was one thing that I could understand that people didn't like. um yeah, so a couple other questions here. Does Jeremy have a green screen behind him?
Yeah, so I have a green screen behind me. My house isn't this magnificent, but this office is horrible. And to get the zoom to work on this Logitech camera, I need to, again, going back to getting better tech, I have to have the
Yeah.
Logi system set up to zoom in, and my green screen that I have is too small. Like it's not wide enough to have it
Okay.
without it zoomed in. And so then it just causes too many complications. But I didn't want a messy background. I thought it'd be nice in this nice mansion behind
And
me.
here we are with messy backgrounds because I couldn't get it to work. It was just like,
Your office where you're at, Jinx, is nothing compared to what is behind me. If I turn this off,
oh well,
it
I'm
is
glad that I'm not the messiest.
ridiculous. No, but I did see. I loved how both of you. One cat came out of the closet, and then it started walking, and then it felt like that cat then started walking behind you, Jinx.
Oh, because
With
my cat's walking behind me. There she is.
yeah, yeah,
But then her cat's like in the closet on the same
right,
side of
yeah.
us.
It was really cute though when
I
they
don't know
pulled it.
why he likes the closet so much. It's
Oh my
weird.
gosh. Okay, so do we have any pictures that we can share from Uwu? Oh my
I'm
gosh,
working
we're
on that right now, yeah. I'm having some, issues for some reason, like, Google is just being real nice and slow today.
That's
so
probably
while Thermo looks
probably
for that, I'll
me.
just start talking on like a couple of the other big events that we did. So we did Yuma. I'm just gonna touch on it very quickly because I really, really enjoyed YumaCon. Yuma is about 3 hours drive southwest of Phoenix metropolitan area. So it's much, much smaller, but Yuma, the city of Yuma actually puts on the event. So it's very organized and it's well maintained. And pretty much everyone in the community down there goes because it's the only event they have locally. So we were invited down there. Thermo was invited as a guest, and the New Arizona Republic was there with a table.
Yeah.
And I had a fun time. Amber Bright was with us as well, and we just had a great time. And then would go eat afterwards. I will definitely do Yuma again. It was my first time doing Yuma, and it was really enjoyable. Met they had a what was his name? I think his name was Katero Colbert, and he was a voice actor for a Naruto character. He was like their main guest. He was really chill. He was like next to us, so it was really cool to network. And then just before that event was Tucson Comic Con. So in Arizona, there's kind of three main city areas. So we've got like Phoenix Metro, which is kind of in the center. And then up north by the Grand Canyon is like Flagstaff and some other areas. And then down south, Tucson is the big town down there, although it's still like much smaller than Phoenix. But I love Tucson Comic Con because it's like Phoenix Comic Con's baby sister that everyone likes. So I've been down a couple times, I think since Thermo brought me down there in 2017, I think, or 2018, might have been 2018, that I go every
Yeah, I
year.
think it's 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the past, we've Thermo and I have like been judges or hosts for the contest events, done panels. And this past year, Thermo was actually at Dragon Con. And so I've been trying to take it easier. Yeah, take it easier on events. So I helped the New Arizona Republic host their booth down there. The event overall was really nice. But yeah, I think we've got Uwu pictures coming up here. Yeah, so this is Uwu's Instagram, which was very well updated and organized. So of course the classic pink Uwu
Why is
slime
it
and
not? There we
backdrop.
go. There we go. Yeah, like the
Cool. Yeah, so as you can see, like the venue itself is not pretty. But everyone still enjoyed themselves because the venue itself is more suited for cars and horses.
It's just like a giant warehouse is literally
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. But I think it ended up being really good. The only thing I couldn't figure out, and maybe you have an answer for this, Thermo or Jinx, why did they leave all the space? So where what's the
Cosplay Village?
I'm sorry.
Oh, so I can tell you that. I can actually tell you what happened with the
You know where
spacing
the
at
woman with the
UConn.
acrobatics was at? I forgot her
Yeah,
name.
so
Ryan,
what
right?
happened?
Ryan. And then right there behind there was all that space. I was just curious
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so what happened is they sent us square footage and it didn't match what I lined up with. And so when we mapped it out and I set everything up that day, I looked around and was like, wait a second, there's more room. And this was something we encountered constantly. We're like, wait, there's more room. We're like, so
Yeah.
next year we'll be able to have more room if we stay at Westworld. And so now that we've operated in it, we know officially we need to
It did end
expand
up
this map
working
out
out
a little
because I
bit.
think on Saturday or maybe even Sunday, both days, I think that they people were using it for photography. So I know a lot of the space got utilized pretty good.
Yeah.
But I was just when we were talking about it because me and Michelle, I think that's her name from Fantasy Squared, we were talking about doing their like squat like competition. I was like, oh, next year we could do it in all of this space because we were talking about there being a lot of space there. But yeah, no, that makes sense. That'd be cool though if you're able to kind of map that to having the square footage.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to map it to have more square footage. I mean, I think I've got one reel that was pretty funny that we were tagged in. So the first day of con, I was doing Cassandra Nova from and then look, there's one of our interviews that Age of Radio did. So we did have interviews throughout the time at UwuCon. And then where's the I don't even know if it here it is. So this it was Handsome Pool was running around filming individuals and ended up being pretty funny. There were a lot of photos of people just having fun with that first day, and we had lots of different meetups. Easy PM did different meetups each day. So that was a good thing. I also had some sneak photos taken that I didn't know about, and there was a couple of them where it was like, because I have this habit of when I'm feeling goofy, I just flip people off. Not to be mean, I just flip people off. And I was like, where were you taking photos? They're like, because it was funny.
Yeah. So
So
overall,
I've a lot of photos of me flipping people off at Ulu as Cassandra Nova.
Joey says Uwu needs a comic artist alley sponsored by Age of Radio.
I just don't know.
I mean,
Isn't it focused more on animation though?
It
Like,
is
isn't
more
that like the
animation,
goal of
yeah.
UwuCon though? Yeah. Or is it trying to expand outside of that? That's just a
It's
question.
primarily animation.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But let me see if I can you were talking about YumaCon, Jinx. Let me see if I can pull up photos from YumaCon because I know we had quite a few posted in the NAR chat. It's just I have to get through to where they were because we also went to Good Springs recently and it has been chaos. There's so many photos from Good Springs. I think I'm almost down to where the YumaCon photos are though. So yeah, we're almost there.
When is YumaCon?
It's usually the first week of October.
Got it.
Oh yeah. So it was before Uwu, but it was after Tucson.
Then I'm gonna try to get to that one too.
And Tucson is usually
have an idea of what I'm doing.
Tucson's usually in November, but they've most recently changed it to why can't I think of the day? What is that day? That holiday in September?
Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day. Yeah.
So that Labor Day, yeah. And then those were that's one of my favorite ones. Probably my new favorite this past
Tucson?
year, other than Uwu, is Tucson.
What kind of made it stand out for you?
It's smaller and they're not like trying to make it like bigger, more people, because I really think that once you get to a certain capacity, you need to move or limit tickets, right? Because there's some events that don't do that. They just keep going and
they just
moving.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I like that they maintain it, they keep it, organized and smooth, and they improve every year. And they listen to their fans and everything. So this is Yuma. So this is the winner of the youth costume contest, right? Yeah.
I think that's my favorite thing that I've ever seen you guys do is the youth contest. I watched you guys did it. Was it Fan Fusion that you guys did the youth contest?
Yeah. Amber Skies and I do it at Fan Fusion.
Yeah, it was. So that's probably my favorite thing to see you guys do, just to see the kids or the youth you do it and to see what they come up with and their ability to make something like that. I'm still not that creative or able to do anything like that now. Definitely wasn't at their ages, but that's so cool that you guys do that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. They judged Amber Bright and Thermo judged alongside with I cannot remember how to say her cosplay name. Ayuchaku, who's based out in Yuma, San Luis, Yuma. But we were there representing the New Arizona Republic, so I pretty much wore the same costume like every day because that was my Fallout jumpsuit. We had a cute little setup. A lot of people came through. We got a lot of membership from Yuma, so that was really cool. Yeah. Pictures of the awesome cosplayers. Those were the really cool like Nuka group. They were really awesome, and they won an award I think in the contest, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
and they ended up on a magazine too. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see everyone's fandoms and dedications in different areas of the state.
There we go.
Yuma was a lot of fun. Tucson was a lot of fun as well. Tucson has a huge representation for NAR down there. Our membership is mostly in Metro Phoenix and Tucson, and online we've expanded to even like international. So NAR, if you guys don't know, is the New Arizona Republic. It's a Fallout-based cosplay group, but they welcome all sorts of cosplays. They just mostly specialize in all these unique and different kinds of like crafting, to make their props and to make their costumes. And Ziki wants out.
He's angry because
are you having a conversation with your cat?
Yeah, my roommate let the ferrets out, and he's looking at the door because he's angry that it's not open. He's one of those animals that does not like when doors are closed. Now he's staring at me from my mannequin.
Joey says, I love that AZ has so many geeky things. And I like that like they're kind of spread out a little bit. So there's different areas to go to. But Yeah, so Tucson, do you have any pictures of Tucson? Do I need to pull those up?
Does Northern Arizona have anything, Jinx?
Yeah, Northern Arizona has a couple of different events. We did go to Fandom Mania in Prescott Valley. So Prescott Valley is a small town about an hour north of Phoenix, between here and Flagstaff. So that was really fun. It was at their little stadium, and we went there. Thermo Cosplay was a guest. So myself, Insomnimat, and Amber Bright went for the day, had a great time to support her. And that was, yeah, a 1 day thing in Prescott Valley. I haven't really been anywhere else this year, but there's other places, even in like Eastern Arizona, Northern Arizona. So yeah, this is Tucson. So Tucson, we did a walk around and photo shoots. That is Novaroon cosplay. He has the signature giant power armor. A couple more of our members. And they had a big table. It was like, gosh, it was like 20 feet long out in the hallway. So really cool to see a lot of members there. That was the meetup. So funny. And there were some schedule issues, so that's why the meetup looks quite small, because it was changed from like a day and time. So, but still, there were a lot of Fallout cosplayers, especially with the show coming out on Amazon. A lot more wandering around the cons. So cool. Chris back there's like, don't break it.
Yeah, basically. Oh no, child helping somebody get dressed.
So Thermo, are you going to be doing like you were asked to talk in the Prescott one, I think? Are you still going to be doing that in this upcoming year, doing like if you're asked to go there and speak and things like that? Are you going to be doing those as well?
Yeah, so in general, I'm not going to be guesting or judging. There's only 2 events that I'm willing to judge for, but that's specifically because I know they have a really difficult time getting people and I support them. They're very kind. They're super big about like making sure the community has access, because privilege is hard and like people have more privilege than others. And so they want to make it accessible to a lot of people. So those are the
Yeah.
events I'm like, I'm not going to charge anything. Just like, let me come and help. So yeah, but I still go to events and speak. I have no problems going to events and speaking, like Phoenix Fan Fusion. I already have 3 panels locked in. I'll be assisting with their youth contests still. I'll be assisting with youth contests for a lot of events, just because I feel like helping the younger generation get more confidence in what they want to do, and helping them, kind of learn how to walk the stage so that they're never feel burdened when they are old enough to compete in the big masquerades. It'll be easier for them to do that. And that guidance is probably nice. Plus, it builds early camaraderie, right? And it helps them network better and learn how to communicate, so that when they're upset and they lose, you can explain why or what happened, right? So I like doing that too. I'm absolutely going to speak. I know that Fandomania has a different plan for 2025. They haven't communicated with me yet, but I know that there are things that they're interested in. And specifically, I think they're going to do some kind of thing that would require more of assistance from the New Arizona Republic anyways. So we'll see what goes forward from there. I haven't reached back out to the Tempe Public Library because they were interested in having me do presentations before FanCon this year. So I am still speaking. I am working more towards 2025 being more cosplay gaming, which is what I've always wanted to do, and getting back in tutorials, because I've had some companies reach back out to me inquiring if I'm going to start generating tutorials again. And when I was doing that, I was able to experiment with materials too, and then provide feedback to them and to other cosplayers on, hey, this is how this material works. This is what it does. This is what it doesn't do. Can you push it further? Do you think it could be used for something else? And I liked doing that because it allowed me to ensure that I could help point out safety concerns. Oh, hi, buddy. That I could point out safety concerns, because there are a lot of materials out there that people think they can use without a mask or without gloves, and they really can't. So any way I can help promote safety.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things that you talked about, I think, when we did our interview, and I've talked about other people. You really promote safety, which is amazing.
Yeah, safety, accountability, and camaraderie are kind of my thing. I make mistakes too, and I openly admit when I make mistakes to people, but I don't like the individuals who shift blame, and I don't like in the cosplay community how there is off and on you'll encounter individuals or you'll encounter events that have this entitled feeling to people or to guests, and so you have to learn how to create boundaries too. So I talk a lot about generating boundaries because I even had to something I don't know if I've told everyone this year, but there was a quiet period for me because I had experienced a lot of cyberbullying and all resulting from feedback to an event. And so I went to therapy to reanalyze and see, hey, did I make a mistake? Did I mess up here? Can I get an outside opinion who has no association with this? And it was determined that I was dealing with narcissists and that this is how you need to learn how to communicate with them in the future. You know, I also found out that several of these individuals had actually been cyber stalking me because I did my OSINT, which is an online research strategy that you can do through cybersecurity. And when I discovered this, I started going in and restricting and blocking a bunch of people because there was some creepy stuff going on. And I'm a genuine person. If I meet you once, I think you're going to be a genuine person too. And when you do crazy things, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like, so
that's hard.
some of these people were behind my back too, saying that they were friends of mine and I'd only met them once or maybe twice. How am I your friend if I've only met you once or twice and we've never established communication outside of an event? So
Yeah.
that's another thing too, is that's why I'm big about being boundaries and safety, not only just safety for making cosplay, but for your own mental and emotional safety. There are people out there who are disingenuine, and I've been trying to help promote being careful when you're out there too, because cosplay is a very like visual element. People will feel entitled to your time. People will feel entitled to your costumes and what you wear. And so making sure that you set careful boundaries and that you're like, hey, this is what I'm comfortable with and this is what I'm uncomfortable with is really important.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, we
Cool.
do try and
Thank you.
promote like safety within our communities. Joey did ask, do any of you venture outside of the state for cons? So earlier this year, Thermo and I went to Anaheim for WonderCon. It was Thermo's first time. It was my second time. We actually had a huge plan to go and enter the contest in 2020. We were like knee deep in like choreography when they shut everything down. So
I still have all the setup.
yeah, yeah, but we had a great time. Thermo and I kind of went. It was so weird, right? Because like we didn't have any responsibilities. We're just going as attendees.
We
We
both
spent one
missed
day.
that too. We're talking about how we need to do that more often is
Yeah,
Jinx and I have become kind of responsible parties for a lot of like panels and coordinating events because we have over a decade of experience. She has 2 decades, I have a decade. And so we kind of understand, okay, well, this is where bias might introduce itself, or this is where you might have safety problems, or hey, this is how you make sure it's equitable for all people and all privileges, right? Like no matter what socioeconomic background they come from. And it's hard when you're always doing stuff for cons over and over and over again. You don't actually get to enjoy the con you're working it. And so WonderCon was one of those moments where we were just standing there going, what do we do?
I know. I was like, and I was like suffering. I don't know why. I think it was my feet or something. And you were like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." And then I think you asked like 2 more times. You're like, "We don't have to stay. We don't have anything. I'm good. I saw everything. Like, if you want to go, we can go." And I was like, "Oh, I guess you're right." Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
so
don't
we
have.
left and she took a nap and she changed into comfortable shoes and then we got into some comfortable like kind of like it was like Disney bound outfits and then we walked back and we got to watch their costume contest and I was like,
yeah,
this is nice. This is nice being able to step away whenever
yeah.
you are tired or whenever you have a moment because it happens. You have a moment sometimes where you feel vulnerable at cons. It is very overstimulating and having that opportunity to step away because there are no obligations was really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually that day I was wearing Morgan and you were wearing Lucy from Cyberpunk, and they were quite popular. I was like, "Oh, a lot of people want our pictures." Like usually, like I, I know I'm used to that because we're at a booth or we're hosting something or whatever, and so it was fun to just be like walking around and be like, "Hey," and what's crazy is we ran into people that we knew as well, just like
So many people.
yeah,
And we didn't
like
even know
we knew
they were gonna
somebody
be
like
there.
Sandra Soapbox was there, Cosplaying Marquez was there. We ran into the director for Cosplay Universe, who we'd only seen virtually, and he was like, "Hey, Jinx and
It was
Thermo." I was
nice
like,
to finally, like, meet him in person.
"Yeah,"
Yeah.
like randomly, like we hadn't like set anything up. My poor
That's
kitty's
really
got
cool.
an issue, so we
Yeah,
didn't want
and
to
I
do
know
it.
that you guys were in a different state for that, but there were like 3 people when we walked around yesterday that I had met from fan fusion, walking around doing it, and then also from comics and cocktails, which was a really cool experience for me because I'd never experienced that before from a conference setting, from being at another con and then meeting someone, which is really, in my opinion, one of the most rewarding things is to the meeting the people and then seeing them again and sharing stories. But that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, even like for the time that we've been doing this, we saw people at WonderCon. But we did take a day before WonderCon to go to Disneyland, and that was so much fun because we had like no responsibilities. We did whatever we wanted at Disneyland. That was the first time I ever got that the
Yeah,
citizen like.
so she's never had a Disney pin, like when a member gives you a pin because you inspire them in some way or you make them happy.
Oh,
That was my second or I think that was my third one, because one time there was just a member at Disneyland that was having a rough day and I gave my friend a hug and she's like, "Man, I wish I could have a hug." And I just turned around and gave her a hug.
oh, that's
And
I've
so I
awesome.
got
been
a
way
pin
more
from that.
times than yeah, I've been way more times than Thermo has, and she's been like 4 times. I was like, hi. Anyway, so
I'm
so
like, I've
yeah,
been
so
4
that was
times in the past 25 years and I've got 3 pins.
Wow.
so
I don't
but
know.
yeah, we did we skip over anything over that Tuesday?
So for you went to WonderCon. I went out to Nevada for Good Springs, which is a new Vegas day. So there is a new Fallout convention. It was completely free. It's going to be 3 days next year. It'll be November 14th through the 16th. It is hosted by the Pioneer Saloon in Good Springs, Nevada. Good Springs, for if you've ever played Fallout New Vegas, wow, New Vegas. It is Good Springs. The stuff that's there it inspired the developers. There's a lot of the buildings that are in the game that are in the real life city of Good Springs. But there were like 9,000 people that showed up in a town that's only populated by 130 people. So it was
Wow.
wild. They did a really good job coordinating. I had so much fun. But other than Nevada, I went to Georgia for Dragon Con. It was the first time I'd ever been there. And shout out to Anna from Glendale Public Library for giving me my training wheels, because that convention is 5 days. And I very much underestimated just how complicated it can be navigating it. So I'm going back in 2025 without my training wheels, now prepared. So that's one thing too. I feel like there was another out of state event I went to, but maybe it was just because Yuma feels like that because it's almost on the
When did we do
California border.
EMCC or yeah, what did we do? Not EMCC, ECCC. Was that last year?
I haven't been to ECCC in 2 years.
No, we went. Remember, it was all of us. Matt came too. Was that
Oh, that was
last year?
2023. That was last year.
Okay, that was
Yeah, you're right.
2023.
Yeah, that was last
Okay,
year.
so I was going to share
It just
your
feels like it's
picture.
already 2 years ago.
I know, right? So this was at Good Springs. These are local members.
And Alex is the one on the left is one of the admins for the group. As I am. That's my brother, and we're both admins there. So yeah. There's me.
Oh,
Next
there's
to
you.
yeah. I was a ghoul.
It probably made for really great photo shoots too.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
so
like
fun.
you're
And then that's
actually
my
in it.
half my family right there. Oh, look, it's me looking not ghoulish. I was tired that day.
Yesterday, I think Amber said something that was pretty funny. It's the closest that we're ever going to want to get to
Right.
get
You
to a
don't want a
Fallout
nuclear
situation.
wasteland, but you want to kind of get to
Yeah.
see it's the closest you want to get. Absolutely. I laughed at that too.
So cool.
But
A lot
next
of
year,
people are out
I
there,
actually
right?
have my conventions for next year set up too. So like when we get closer, we're actually 10 minutes. Holy crap, we're 10 minutes from the end of this. I can't believe.
I
We've
know
been
we didn't
streaming
go
for
very
almost an
far.
hour.
I know. I'm
Um,
sure it had to do with me asking multiple other questions.
It's okay. But if you're talking, if any of it, so Joey, you mentioned like what other out of state events. So like I said, I am going back. I am going back to WonderCon. I've already bought my pass. For those of you who haven't bought their pass, do it now because the full week pass or the full event pass goes pretty fast.
Ooh, I need to
And
get mine.
if you order it early too, it gets shipped to you. So it's like, um, and then I'm actually planning to going back to California for costume college for the first time. So I'm hoping to submit some classes and see if my classes get accepted, which would be really cool. And then yeah, I'm absolutely going back to Dragon Con, like I said. But yeah, WonderCon was so much fun, and you're right. It was like we just thought that these characters were like, we'll wear them like on the first day because they're the most difficult ones to wear. Because each of us had so many pieces to put on, and so we helped each other out. And like I had a full nude bodysuit under there because it was really cold. It was very cold.
That's so cool.
But it ended up being we just got so worn out. And yeah, she was Chewbacca and I was Han.
Yeah, we did our Disney bounds. And that's why
That's
we got
so
our pin, because someone recognized it. They're like, so that was a lot of
Yep.
fun.
They were so excited. They're like, "I
And
see you.
then
There's a couple smugglers here." And we're like, "Where? What are you talking about? Where are they?"
Game On Expo was in
Mhm.
March this year, I think, right?
Yep.
So my highlight was meeting Britt Barron, who's the
Mhm.
voice of Tifa. I actually brought her a drawing that I made from Final Fantasy VII, the first one, in 1997, and I drew this like sketch of Tifa, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is the most memorable thing I've had so far!" Like, what should I write? I was like, "Oh, I don't want to ruin it," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And like, I know she's a new part of the Final Fantasy, legacy, but she is perfect. Like, she brings Tifa to life. Like, she is the last thing that Tifa needed to be perfect. So yeah, kudos to her. That's Thermo as we're dressed up as Aerith and Tifa from Ever Crisis, which is the mobile game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I
so that
think
was a
I'm
lot of
actually
fun
gonna
at Game
keep
On.
that outfit just because I realized I could partially use it too for some Star Wars outfits. I'm like, "I'm keeping this because I can use it for a couple other things."
Yeah,
Like,
that is a
so,
good
I just have to
point.
modify the pants. That was one thing where the pants were not long enough for how I have a 43.5-inch outseam, and those pants were, like, 2.5 inches too short. The boots are just hiding it. You can't see.
Wow, I just realized I don't have any pictures of Phoenix Fan Fusion from this year on my Instagram. So, I mean, that was fun, but
I
I did a
do I?
lot
I
less that
might.
year.
Let me see. I might have some. I can double
Yeah,
check.
that year I did, this past year at Phoenix Fan Fusion, I did like 2 panels, and then I helped with the new skit contest, which was on Sunday. So I wanted to keep it easy. Although I still do want to get like a hotel when we go, Sam, because I just
Oh,
like
I
it. I
actually
think
already have one reserved
for Phoenix Fan Fusion.
for
Oh,
next year, so I can always modify it. I have a special account that I can reserve stuff in advance.
yeah,
So
I like the idea of just making it a nice weekend in downtown Phoenix and hanging out and stuff.
It would make it a lot easier. I didn't even I just went all 3 days, and I would have preferred to have a hotel down there.
Yeah, because like downtown is such a pain. Like I
Yeah.
hate like navigating downtown. So to have to do it daily for a big event is annoying. Oh yeah, that's right. Because that year I actually helped out with the Fantasy Squared cosplay booth. So I was
yep.
also there helping them.
Okay. And
So
Fabio,
yeah,
you
And
guys
then we
can
also
have
did
any
the Uwu, art
art
show, which was pretty
gallery.
fun. Yeah, and then the sad moment of silence that someone lost their wig cap.
Oh.
Aw,
Um, but
yeah. So you did a lot more with AZ Photo Meetups this year as well. They're a really cool independent group that they schedule meetups like once or twice a month, either at studios or out on location. They bring out and they kind of just bring photographers and cosplayers together. So everybody pays a fee, and then everyone just collaborates. So they're also a partner with UwuCon. So they do all the setups and stuff there for cosplayers. Um, yeah, so they've been really cool to work with too. So it's been a really interesting year with some new collaborations, a lot of like reevaluating our own capacities
I got
and
really
where
excited
we
because I
want to
found a
spend our
Scruffy.
energy and skills.
This was at
And
Dragon Con. I kept trying to find the Scruffy, and she just kept disappearing, and then I was in the shuttle, and I couldn't get out. The doors were locked. I was like, "Scruffy!"
so you're trapped in the shuttle.
I was trapped in the shuttle. This
Oh,
was
a
one
couple
thing I
more.
will warn you. Apparently, the bunny hutch thing at um at Dragon Con's really big, and like my sister and I were just like, let's do it for fun, and we did not expect it to just go so. It was wild.
Bunny Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it was
funny
fun.
with the mustache and all. A couple comments. Allison gave us hi. How's it going? Thanks for watching us from Facebook. Fabio says, Jeremy, your house, living like a rock star.
Yeah. No, Fabio,
Let's lawn
it's a
party your
recent
place.
background. However, I was gonna say you guys can have a party at my house whenever. I don't mind anybody
Heck
being
yeah, we
over
got a
here.
party in my house. It's almost, I mean, it looks like it's under construction, but it's almost done. Allison, oh, glad we got that pics together. Yeah, so it's been a really fun year. For Cost Talk Live in general, it's been a lot of like reevaluating growth, especially since now I've got this full-time demanding job. We really want to make sure that our focus is going in the right direction. Our energies are being spent in the right direction. So I know that our regular viewers have seen some changes going on. So this is our last discussion episode of the year, and then we're going to take some time off, some much needed time off, and then reevaluate. Next year, we're still going to come back with some of your favorite stuff. We'll still have our one monthly discussion show and then one gaming show. Those are going to be our minimum base shows. And then
yeah,
we're
but
gonna,
I'll probably end up gaming each week. Because I
yeah, you'll be
game
throwing a
anyways
gaming one
after work to de-stress.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to reevaluate that. And we definitely would love to hear feedback. And we want to get more of our community on screen as well. So you might see some more changes as we, try and get into a rhythm that works for us. But as we're kind of ending nearing the end here, like I want to say like thank you guys to all of our some of our viewers have become friends. And I think that's really cool. Yeah. Some of you viewers are like regular, like this is a heart. Wait, like this.
I was trying to get the right angle.
What are we doing? What do we do? How do you do it?
So you see how your fingers kind of make the top of a heart?
Yeah.
Don't like do this. Like this doesn't make any sense or this.
I know. I was like, what are we doing? Okay.
Or that.
Or you can do like the.
So, this is how millennials do it apparently, and then this is like how did I see? I can't even do it. Like how did the kids do it these days?
How do the kids do it?
There's like this, and then there's like this, like that.
Except for I broke my finger too many times. I can't actually fold this one finger like that.
I thought this is the easiest way to do it, but I guess not.
Yeah, that's the easiest. Yeah.
Well, I feel like this would be the easiest. What you got?
Oh, yeah,
it's a new easy one. Yeah. So I want to think like this started out as like just a casual hobby for us, just a way to like kind of, enjoy our hobby with other people when we couldn't be in person. So I think it's really, really cool that we have lots of followers that have been with us a long time and viewers that come up and we even, we did last year, or was it 2022? I was heavy on the physical appearances. So we did do a lot of events and, that was fun, but it was exhausting. So we're still trying to find a way that works for all of us. And we've got, Age of Radio on board. And Jeremy, before we like wrap up, I want to know, like, you kind of like have done a lot of new things, especially the last 6 months. Like you've done UbuCon, you've been to events. You were with us at was it Game On? Which one did you come with us to?
Game On was the one that
Expo.
it was Game On. I was also at Fam Fusion, but I wasn't like with you guys during
Yeah.
that one.
So your background is more about like, general podcast overall. You've done a lot of business stuff too, but like geeky stuff is new to you. So how have you felt like trying these events?
Well, for me personally, like doing the this geeky stuff in this capacity is new to me. Being a geek has been me my whole entire life.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't been able to do
But
a
the
lot.
events are
Right. So for me, I think the most amazing thing has been the cosplay community, and I can't stress that enough. I think that's why I enjoy doing the conversations with the cosplay community. Also, too, because I think that I've shared this. Maybe I've shared this with you, but I try to share this as much as I can. Like when I made the decision to go to school for finance or in accounting and do businesses and become an entrepreneur, like you have to put in my mind, at least during that period of time, I felt that I had to not do a lot of those things that made me happy because of where I was trying to go and what I was trying to do. And now where I'm in a place where that doesn't matter to me because I can do, very grateful and blessed, but I can kind of do wherever I want. For me, I want to make sure that the people that are the youth and each one of you and all these people, they're able to do that and feel that they don't have to change anything about themselves to be a part of whatever the world is expecting them to be. And so for me to be there with the cosplayers, to help with indie creators and kids doing this and teenagers and young adults doing it, that is where I love seeing it and love being around it. So being at the conferences, I'm having the time of my life. Again, they're like doing interviews and then setting up the table and then doing stuff. It gets exhausting, but it's for me right now, it's so worth it. But I haven't been doing it for 20 years and 15 years like each of you have been. But for me, I'm having the time of my life getting involved more with this community and making content that's more geared towards that community because it's something that I have a passion for and I want to see grow.
Nice. Yeah. And we're so glad to like be able to introduce you to this stuff that we love and been doing for so long, and that you're helping us spread it too with your network. So yeah, definitely. So we are at 1 o'clock. Went actually quite fast. So so even though we're taking a break, guys, we still want to hear from you. We'll still be posting every so often. And then, Thermo's going to come up with a really fun gaming sesh for relaxing. So where can we find everybody? I am Jinx at at the Jinx Cosplay on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and now Blue Sky. Oh, Blue Sky, I am Jinx Cosplay. I got there in time.
You're like,
yeah. Thermo?
just thermo_az or thermoaz on YouTube, Instagram. My Facebook's going to be shut down next year because I've been having too much trouble with the pages. Like, and I've reported it multiple times. There's actual technical errors on my page now. I've had the page for a very long time, and it's just having so many issues, and they're just not fixing it. So I'm just gonna shut it down. Might make a new one, but this one's just had there's just things aren't working. And I keep trying to connect and post and it's not working. And I'm tired of having to go onto a desktop to get it to work. So I'm going to shut that down, but I will primarily be on YouTube and Instagram as thermoaz or thermo_az. And I will also be on Twitch as well as thermoaz.
Cool. And Jeremy?
Yeah, so for me personally, all my stuff is at Age of Jeremy. You can find me, which is off of being Age of Radio. So Age of Jeremy, and then on Facebook and LinkedIn specifically to get verified, I had to use my entire name for some reason. So it's Cesar Jeremy Quintanilla if you want to find me on Facebook and
I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't think you guys are going to be interested in what I'm on LinkedIn for. So.
And then for Age of Radio, it's at Age of Radio Verse on Instagram. And on YouTube, and then everywhere else it's at Age of Radio.
Age of Radio, yeah. Oh, I forgot Instructables too. You'll find me on Thermo AZ. So Instructables is probably where I'm going to spend a lot of my time. Instructables, YouTube, and Twitch.
Yeah, and then of course we are Cost Talk Live. You'll see us again next year live. Cost Talk Live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. So,
and our website is going down. We at one point had enough information, but now that it's primarily Jinx and I, and we are going to be limiting how many events we're going to in the future because life changes. A lot of our members have moved on and gone to other things or moved to different states, and so getting time has been kind of difficult. So we are shutting down our website, but we're going to, like Jinx said, stay primarily on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and
so we will see you guys there. So thank you so much for tuning in, and have a happy holidays, happy rest of your year, and be safe, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll do selfies.
It's a video, so we can just take as many clips as. Oh, look, there's an alpha and there's a Scott. Yay!